Okay, mic check, mic check, mic check. Should be able to hear, see all that. Hopefully, yeah. YouTube, Instagram, all that. Welcome, welcome. Should be good, right? Hold on. Yeah, there you go. By the way, this is not black. This is blue. And depending on what kind of night you have, black and blue go together. Black and blue. You get in a fight, you might get black and blued up, making a black eye. All right, cool. Everything checks out, yeah? Yeah, it should be on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I think that's my guy, Mark Wahlberg. Mark Wallace. Yeah, the folks on the tube are saying it checks out, so we're good to go, I believe. All right, Mr. Blue here, Mr. Blue. Even though it says Mr. Black, but whatever. We're traders. We only see green and red. Green and red. Green. Give me some green. Green, red. Bull bear. All right, cool. Let's dive in, right? Mr. Blue here. I'll go over some pre-market prep. Today is Thursday, May 8th. AJO, Openshaw, the GOAT. Yeah, yeah, we had a little emergency meeting last night for TradePhantoms. Good thing though. It was a good thing. Definitely good. That said, we got a new day, right? Hold on, give me a second here. Let me make sure this is good over here. All right, it's time to rip it up. Time to rip it up. All right, here's the date, whatever, right? May 8th, 2025. Real quick, I'll just take you to forexfactory.com real quick. Of course, yesterday we all know. Yesterday was the Fed, the Federal Reserve. They didn't do, they didn't do much, right? They kept the rates the same. That was expected, so on and so forth. I'm not going to go backwards. Y'all can check all that stuff out. I actually took a loss. I actually took a small loss day yesterday. Here at Phantoms, we're real, right? So we show, we trade live and all that kind of good stuff, right? So we had a special kind of session, if you will, and myself, Mr. Blue here, I took a small loss yesterday, right? So today, new day, fresh day. Let's hit it up. As far as news, we did just have unemployment claims, okay, in the U.S. And that's pretty much it for the most part for today. There's a couple of earnings, nothing too crazy, but 10 o'clock Eastern, we do have Trump speaking, and so that's something that you want to be aware of, because man, love him or hate him, we don't play politics here at Phantoms. This is business, right? But whenever he talks, he could, things could potentially happen, right? So that's 30 minutes after the open, so definitely want to be aware of that, okay? And I'll leave that there, okay? Just finishing up the week just for YouTube here, tomorrow being Friday, obviously we're going to be trading here through today, pretty quiet. So, we'll see. Apparently there's some things going on, right? And this is all economic. That's a planned news. But of course, these days, especially, after January, you have to be aware of just headline news coming up, that just pops up, right? So on and so forth. So, just be aware of that. All right, I'll bring this up real quick. I bring this up every session, no matter what. Okay, new folks have been around in Phantoms for quite some time. Okay, top down demand supply, right, is the main backdrop, right? Institutional demand and supply backdrop. Top down multiple time frame analysis approach, monthly, weekly, daily, no matter what. Even if you are scalping futures for a couple of points / ticks, for a couple of minutes, you still need to know where you are on the higher time frames. Okay, and so therefore, this is kind of like a cheat sheet, if you will, where I have monthly, weekly, daily. Okay, orange is the color of the monthly time frame, where everything that you see in orange is associated with that time frame. Yellow is weekly time frame. Okay, everything you see in yellow is going to be weekly. Daily is going to be the blue color, if you will. Everything on my charts that you see in that color is going to be associated with daily time frame. Bullish candlesticks, great. All these fancy names, right? Location is going to be most important. Okay, right. I want to look at these bullish candlesticks at demand. Okay, in the context of uptrends, right, on higher time frames down to the smaller time frames. Bearish candlesticks, right? Location being most important. These are going to be, but location is going to be most important. I want to be looking at these candlesticks or these formations, if you will, okay, at supply, okay, in the context of downtrends. And then we get this liquidity map. Boy, do we spend some time on this with class, right? Now we got 35, 34 minutes here, give or take, before the open. Definitely don't have enough time to go through this whole thing here for right now. We're going to go through some market prep. But this is if you understand this and you can put it all together, you got it. You got it. Okay. That said, let me go hop over into the charts, of course, and I'll pop open futures here, major 4 indexes, if you will. John B. Marr made my first straddle yesterday with only and only lost $15, but good learning experience. 3 months ago, didn't know the difference between a put or a call. Man, the growth. Yeah, the growth is crazy. And you know what? On that note, so everything that we've been talking about all week and even the week prior, in regard to regarding phantoms, happened, right? I mean, he was expecting everything that was expected happened. So there was no shock, there was no surprise. So I put on a straddle. I bought a straddle yesterday in options, and actually the straddle did make some money if you managed it correctly. All right, but then as we had a session, and I was trying to press, and trying to trade, trying to press one side, and it ended up just being arranged in a chop, which I'm going to get into right now, going forward. But typically on a straddle or a strangle regarding options, you need a big move. You need a big move, and we did not get that, right. We settled right back in the middle. It was just a range chop day all day yesterday, right. That said, we'll talk about it here, right? So we got the S&P futures daily time frame upper left, NASDAQ upper right, Dow Jones lower left, Russell 2000 small caps bottom right. I'll pop open the daily time frame of the S&P futures, and here we are, right? I mean, here's today. I mean, futures are up about 0.73% in the S&Ps. NASDAQ up 1% over. We got Dow Jones 0.5%. And then we get Russell small cap up over 1%. Okay, but let's put that into perspective. Okay, so here's current price, daily time frame here. Okay, I'll zoom out in a moment here, but let me zoom in first. Okay, so if I look at current price, I mean, if we look at here, right, crazy. Yesterday was Fed, right? I even mentioned this on even on free YouTube and Instagram, all this kind of stuff. May 2nd, 5-2, which is what? If I look at the calendar, I gotta pop up a calendar because I can't even count that high. Okay, how many days ago was that? That was last Friday, right? That was last Friday. And so the point that I'm trying to make here is what's so important about that? Well, we have Friday's high, last Friday's high here, last Friday's low here. Okay, and look, we got this Monday, Tuesday, yesterday, Wednesday, Fed here being Thursday here today, and we're still in Friday's high and low. Phone on silent. We're still inside of Friday's high and low, inside bar. So yes, yesterday was a Fed day. Typically you have a catalyst, even though the implied volatility was kind of low and wasn't expected to move. Okay, it wasn't probably the best thing to do straddles, okay, or strangles, because we just chopped up. We just chop, and we settled back in the middle. Is what I'm trying to say here, right? So Even today we got futures up. Okay, so the question is today finally going to be the day where we break out, whether that be up or down, right? So we've been inside bar for a couple of days here. Now, if I zoom up, matter of fact, give me a second here. I know this is kind of weird, but do I have permission to go get a quick, fresh cup of coffee real quick? Can I top off my coffee, make it hot real quick? 9 o'clock. We got 30 minutes before the open. Permission? Do I have permission? All right, let me do that real quick. Somebody type it in the chat that I'm just going to grab a quick coffee real quick. Coffee break. I'm just going to grab it. All right, give me 2 minutes. Not even. Okay, back. Here we go. Mr. Blue here, right? Back. Trying to cut back on the caffeine, but man, coffee is just so good in the morning. With the birds chirping and stuff, it's the sunshine. It tastes so good. Need it. Okay, so left off here, mother bar high, mother bar low. It's called Harami inside bar. Okay, now zooming out, right? Because we kind of zoomed in here. Zooming out, I don't know. Looks like today might, at the end of the day, if I were to put, this kind of formation, if you will, into perspective, right? So here we are, right? Little TED Talk lesson here right now, even for the two here. Okay, we have we have a Friday mother bar, as mentioned. Okay, and if you notice, I put this right next to this, right? So if you notice, we have here's the mother bar, right? And then we have a drop down, as you can see, over the past couple of days here. Okay, and I don't know if we can get if the bulls come out today. Okay, today it could potentially. I'm not saying that it's going to happen. Okay, but we've been basing, right, and we have a group. Obviously, of phantoms. Even somebody today, over the past day or two had mentioned, be careful. I think it was Pinsky, my man Dylan. I mentioned, be careful here because we've been basing, right? Traders want movement, right? Most, we want movement, but move up or move down. We don't really care which way, okay? But just go, move, and follow through, all right? Because the money's made when, for the most part, there's range traders and things like that. Don't get me wrong. There's different styles of trade, okay? But for the most part, you want markets to move so you can kind of get on the right side and ride, if you will. So the point that I'm trying to make here real quick, because we took some time to get some coffee here, and that took a couple of minutes away from market prep, is that you might be able to have this what's called whatever rising three Mets, or they call it like three kings, whatever the name is. I don't really care. The point being is like move, right? So if we eventually inevitably do potentially break this mother bar to the upside, and we can potentially break out, okay, that will be that kind of like this formation here. Okay, and if and of course we talked about like location, right? So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Now the only thing about this is we're kind of like in the middle, from the all-time high, right? And then we got the all-time low, well, not the all-time low, but what could be the low, okay, April, okay, down here. So we're kind of like halfway through that, right? For the most part. Okay, so we could potentially have a break to the upside if these bulls happen now. If these bulls stay here from this morning into today, right? A couple of news announcements too. Just Trump, has potentially some deal making there with the UK and all that. We'll see, right? How that plays out. Nasdaq futures here, same thing, right? So we get this big move down. Okay, obviously, right? Impulse correction, impulse. We were talking about this, right? This is all over the YouTube channel if you check that out, and even being on top of this at Phantoms. Okay, so same thing here. Okay, kind of zooming in, mother bar high, mother bar low, and it's looking decent, right? It's looking decent. So the question today is: are we finally going to break out of Friday's high, or are we going to break out Friday's low? Just because futures are up today doesn't mean that we are going to just remain up. Okay, we can still respect and have what's called a liquidity sweep, which I'm going to talk a little bit about up here potentially as well. Okay, but basing, right? So we're just kind of like basing, and I would say the path of least resistance. We're going to check VIX and all that. Okay, and I don't and I don't mean resistance like supply or resistance level, if you will. The path of least resistance of movement, okay, would be up. Okay, so we have if this thing wants to go, it could potentially just pop. Okay, and short squeeze some people up. Okay, because there's some liquidity built up here. Okay. That said, let me drop over into the smaller time frames real quick. All right, yeah, I'm going to get to that. What is it? Baka D Def. I can't even read that name. Man, I'm moving into a new place, and so my phone is just crazy. So I got a monthly, weekly, daily. This is Think or Swim. And I got the drop down to the smaller time frames here. I got a 60-minute time frame here, 30-minute here, 5-minute here, 2-minute time frame here, just to give you the lay of the land. All right, I'm going to switch over into the S&P futures. We got 20 minutes before market open. I think I'm going to start these social media sessions a bit more early. Typically, we start a little earlier on the regular Trade Phantom Trade Room I think I might change those times over into a bit more earlier for these sessions here. So I'm on a 60-minute time frame of the S&P futures. Okay, and what we do is mapping out what's global XI overnight high. I think there's some grades this space out here. There's the overnight session. So I got global XI here, got global X low here. Okay, so again, not to harp on it too much, but we still have this this mother bar high here, this mother bar low here, Friday's high and Friday's low. We did kind of map this out yesterday. This is why I keep my notes on the chart. Sometimes my charts are so crazy because you see all these lines everywhere and notes and things like that. But I try to keep that on so people can see kind of what happened. Okay, in the trades, right? Of course, right? Or what we do. So we did have this level here, pretty simple, right? The mother bar high. We kind of came up to that area here. All right, and last night, right? Move up, move up, move up. Okay, great. But we came up. Listen to your mom, right? Listen to your mother always, right? We haven't broken that yet. So we talked about this as a global X trap yesterday. Okay, didn't get up here yesterday, but last night, okay, if you will, 6 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, we got up there. All right, we dropped down a bit more. Okay, off of that, and the one thing that we have to be concerned with today is going to be: is it going to be another chop day inside of kind of this 3 to 5 day range, right? So if we look at yesterday, what's crazy about yesterday, I'm going to say to my team is that we broke this mother bar low. We couldn't even get down into the 55.9 that we were talking about right here, which is a 5-minute, just an aggressive impulse basing impulse right here. We couldn't even get down there. Kind of crazy. So all yesterday did was just chop, 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 swipe down real quick, broke the mother bar real quick. We were making a joke about the markets are on punishment. They're inside of their room. They're on right, and then you try to sneak out of your room, or you try to sneak out of the house, and your mom says, "Hey, get the sanclecha, right, the sandal, and slaps your butt back into and get back in your room, right?" So that's where we're at right now, still, right? So it's kind of like a weird analogy, right? But that is true. That's what happened, right? So we still have to be aware of that, right? So even though futures are up, we have to put that into perspective. So there's something called the global X trap. So I don't have to work hard here, because even if you look at the video on YouTube on what was Tuesday, or right, 55.90, I talked about this level here, right? And we couldn't even get there. Yesterday's low is, which we should be marking out, of course, is going to be 5596. Okay, 5596. Okay, so we broke that 5600 mother bar low. We couldn't even, it came right in between that level right there. So the point that I'm trying to make here real quick is this is going to still be kind of somewhat of what's called a global X trap, 55.90, right? Still aggressive. I got that asterisk there, if you will, if you can kind of make that out and see that, right? Aggressive G trap. Okay, if we do happen to break that mother bar low, okay, we get that 5550, 5550, okay, right below here, impulse, basing impulse, used for a global X trap. Okay, now if we do break a bit higher, okay, if I look up and left, okay, up and left above the global X trap, okay, we have this, which I've been referencing for quite some time now as well, the April 2nd high, okay, which was the day where we really dropped, okay, that began the drop of the, the markets really picked up, right? Really picked down, I should say, right? So that's pretty obvious there. So if we do happen to get up there, we could use this supply level as a reference. But as always, I train my traders here to think about liquidity sweeping. So that price comes in at about 5766. Okay, I would have y'all reference the 5807. 5807. If I kind of zoom in here, okay, 5807 right here. That's above that April 2nd candle or day, if you will, right above there, 580507, if you will, okay, up into the 5822. Again, S&P futures here. Okay, there could be some liquidity sweeping. Okay, and I got notes right here, right, right above that level, because that's kind of an obvious level, and if you look at it, right, this is a drop, a basing, and a drop. This has already been tested, right? That's already been tested, so could be some bit of a liquidity sweep. Now, if we're long, what I always say to folks, right? If we're long already coming up into that, because if we're getting up there today and we're breaking the mother bar, we better be long, right? My traders would be long, right? I'm going to be long, right? Because that means that we're moving, okay, and grooving, and I'm going to be long, right, above VWAP, all right? Positive COG, green bar, take out red on the smaller time frames, ride the market, right? So if we're long, we're going to start to TP TP, take profit, right? Take profit, take profit, take profit. Okay. And then as we get up potentially, I'm not sure if it's going to happen today, into the 58.05, 58.22, give or take, we could potentially start to leg into some shorts, meaning bearish. Okay. All right, so that's kind of the lay of the land. Now, what I will say just real quick, right before I move on, okay, obviously, here's the thing, right? You might be looking at this as saying, okay, well, look at this, impulse. We have a correction. We have an impulse. Like, is this an uptrend on the 60-minute time frame? Okay, be careful with that because guess what? We're in range, right? Remember, we have a mother bar high, mother bar low. We've been inside this range for several days, okay? So, I'm not, don't be surprised, okay, if we come back down all the way down here, okay, potentially, and retest this bottom range here, okay? Now you might say, well, no, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But we were just having a discussion yesterday with the with the traders, okay, at Phantoms, and adapt and expect anything, right? Anything could happen. So don't put, that could easily happen down here based on the condition that we've been in for the past this week, right? This week, all right? Even Jay Powell yesterday couldn't break this market above or below Friday's high. All right, so you have to put that into perspective. Okay, you have to put that into perspective. Yes, there's a demand zone right here. All right, be careful with that. All right, but in range, I'll leave it here. Right, moving on. I'll do Nasdaq really quickly. In range, you want to play the extremes. Okay, I took a loss yesterday. You know why? Because I'm diddling here in the middle. No diddling in the middle. Okay, I took a loss yesterday overall. All right, we don't have losers. Phantoms. All right, I trade live, baby. Let's go. All right. So, that said, though, we got VWAP right here. Okay, we're basic. We're on that. We're at this demand zone. We already did a little bit of liquidity sweep right below that level right here. All right. But we got, for the record, 56, 50, 48 here. There's something right here in terms of demand. Okay, but that didn't break out a new high. But we can reference that and see how markets respond down or at this area here. Okay. If I switch over to the Nasdaq, man, 917 already. Time flies when you're getting coffee. Nasdaq, straight to the source. Global XI, here, overnight high, overnight low, here. All right, and everything that I just mentioned, the S&P, I'm not going to recap, right? But yesterday, what a sweep, right? Swept the mother bar low real quick, whoop, right? Sweep right there real quick, right? Almost got down into that 19,660 level. All right. And, just popped up. Right? We're talking about that right now. We can still reference this 19,660. Okay. Now, NASDAQ did kind of, if that analogy of, mother bar, trying to, you're trapped in your room on punishment here. Market's not moving. You can't go out nowhere. Right. And then NASDAQ peaked out real quick. Got more than a foot out. Okay, almost got outside of it. Got outside of there real quick, and then got smacked right back in. Right. So the mom said, "Hey, say Clutcher, get your butt back in." Right. So the sweep, that was a sweep. All right, we can still reference that. Of course, that's yesterday's low. Okay. If we do happen to break that, okay, I got this 19,500 level right below here. Nice little impulse, basic impulse right here. So I've been speaking about this. I talked about this on Monday on the prep sessions at Phantoms, where this market has been doing what, like dropping down and trapping bearish traders, okay, and then bear traps, and then kind of grinding up, okay. And guess what? I'm here to tell you. Yesterday, I was trying to press a little bit just because of what the Fed announcement was doing, trying to press, just trying to get a little trade here for Fed to to come down, and I had to take a loss, okay. So there's some emotion here where anybody who's like short or this market just won't go down. Okay, and people holding on to shorts, holding on by a thread, if you will. Okay, that could try to potentially catapult this market to the upside. Okay, squeezing out shorts. All right, so we'll see about that. Nasdaq. All right, we got the we have a level right here that's just bouncing off of VWAP right here. Okay, daily VWAP in kind of white. All right, and if I look up and left. Okay, there's the mother bar high. For like up and left, we do have this level right here, so you can potentially mark that off. Let me just throw a line there real quick. Maybe we got 10 minutes before open. I'm gonna go straight to VIX and SPX next, so get ready. I definitely have to start these sessions earlier. Fair. Is that fair? All right, 20,525. That is that kind of obvious March 25th high. This could potentially be a liquidity sweep, pull some liquidity right after this because remember the daily is basing. So the longer that this bases, the breakout could potentially be more aggressive and fierce, if you will. Okay, so therefore, I got the 20,750 up here, and that was the note that I had here for a potential sweep of this area here. Okay, to potentially sweep that up. Okay, potentially after rally, we have a basing. Traders are like, come on, move. Okay, and then if it goes, it goes. Okay, all right, potentially. All right. So that said, moving on here. VIX, volatility index, implied vol of the S&P. Yeah, Will the Beast. Yep, took a small loss yesterday because I'm trying to play the breakup. Yeah, so as you can see, traders are like, come on. Like range traders right now are happy. Credit spread traders, sellers of options are happy right now, right? Trend traders, movement, if you will. Now there's some range. Don't get me wrong, right? But if you want some like really good follow through up or right? Oh, S&P up 1% today. Oh, S&P down 1% today. S&P up 1% today. It's like okay, up down, right? So traders want movement for the most part, some follow through. Okay, so it's okay if you're kind of getting chopped up a little bit within this this week a little bit here and there. Okay, stay strong. We had a session yesterday regarding this. All right, stay strong. Stick to your rules. Be patient. Right, markets will open up. Okay, and when they open up, okay, one way or the other, I don't care if it opens up or if it opens up down, hit it, and that's the time where you want to ride the tape. All right, cool. So VIX, I apologize. You guys are sharing my attention with phone calls and text messages because I am trying to get a new house. VIX down 3%. VIX down, market up. VIX up, market down. Inverse correlation. A lot more to that. VIX implied vol. Okay, S&P. Map that out on the higher time frames. We got 7 minutes before open, so I can't explain too much there. But there's the overnight low. Here's the high. There's a gap down on VIX, right? I'm just going to reference this area right here, right? So if VIX continues, it takes out the low and it kind of sustains its low and kind of trends a little bit or remains low, that would be more bullish for the market. Okay, and for bulls for this breakout, that's what we would want to see if you're bullish. Okay, if you're bearish, you would want this VIX to go higher. Okay, right, break the overnight high and kind of trend higher, if you will. As you can see, yesterday was just a mess, right? But you don't want to go crazy with VIX here, but overall, what's happening? If you will, it's a gauge. It's a gauge on volatility. Okay, very important there. Okay, that said, let's go to spots. All right, so I got a weekly time frame here on the left here. All right, I got a daily time frame here on the right. I do have or some Phantoms members as well. We have what's called a bot straddle. Don't have enough time to explain that right now. 6 minutes before open. Okay, but I got a long put, down here. Okay, I got a long call here, just straddling this. Okay, and I got tomorrow's expiration being the 9th. Okay, so high theta decay indeed. So if this thing does gap up, as you can see, daily time frame of said SPY. Here's yesterday's close. Okay, and we're gapping up right now. Pre-market quote is what 565.55. Okay, so we are gapping up above yesterday's high. Okay, which is right there. All right, as you can see, orange and yellows. Okay, that's why I always bring up that cheat sheet there, so you kind of know what time frames these levels are associated with. Okay, so we have let's see. All right, let's see. Today's open. This we have so far. This we closed yesterday here today, so it was like a red bar on weeklies, but we're going to be gapping up today, so it's going to turn green for like right now. We're leaving a hammer. Well, not a hammer, but a wick down here. So the question is again, like I said, are these bulls going to take over? Are these bulls going to take over? All right. So for the folks that are in this straddle, if you will, you're almost shooting for the bulls to take over and have this thing pop up. Okay. And you'll be losing money on the long put. Okay, which is okay. Okay, and you want big movement and fast, potentially a breakout, and then this long call will be making money. Okay, of course, yes, you would want to. If this does move up, then you would hope that you never had this on, right? But you can't say that because what if in the parallel universe we'd be gapping down? Because you'd be saying, well, I want this long put to print, okay, and then I'll be taking a loss on the long call. Okay, so we want movement, right? So we're kind of straddling this for right now, just based on what we were doing yesterday. Okay, so we'll see, right? Last week's highs here, 568-ish. So, we're not gapping up above that, so on and so forth. But, some liquidity is getting built up here. So let's see if we can try to pump up here. All right. Now, I'm going to go over to the SPX in a moment here. Okay. We're up, 0.74%. If I go to the SPX real quick, because what I'm going to do now is go over into the options depth. By the way, this was yesterday's kind of, gross. Usually I give Phantoms members a chance to take a picture. We always stress take a picture of trades. Okay, take a picture of your trades. Okay, and that's super important there, right? Let me just snag a quick pic right here because I forgot to take a picture end of day yesterday. So let me just do that real quick. Apologies for this. Boom, bang. But you should be doing this. All right. Take a picture of pre and post of what you're doing. Okay, for your journal, real quick, right? So you're seeing it live on YouTube here. Yesterday's date was what? The 7th. Done. Easy. Okay. Boom. For the archives. For the studies. All right. You must recap what you did on the weekends. Good time to just recap what you did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, how the week closed. Super important. Okay. Trading is a skill set. You have to think yourself as a professional athlete. Study film. Study film. All right. We had a discussion about this yesterday, so it's kind of fresh on my mind and kind of pumped up about that right now at the moment. Okay. For the Phantoms group. All right. Point being, anyways, right now let's move on. All right. 0.7% give or take. S&P future, SPX, if you will, 56, 70, 75-ish. Okay. Why am I doing this? Because I'm going over here to what's called the options depth, and I want to see, okay, if we, and I don't have enough time to explain this, that's for sure. This is heavy information here. But if I say, okay, this thing is gapping up at or around the 56.70 handle. Okay, we have some Phantoms members that are already mentioning this in here because they're awesome. What does this mean? So 50, what did I say? 56.70, right? 56.70. We're up here. Ooh, interesting. So we are gapping up into 56.70, which is we have a lot of blue up here. So even though we're trying to break out, potentially we have to be careful because this is some heavy stuff up here. Okay. What's crazy about today is that if we do actually break down, we have a negative GEX environment here below. Okay. So be careful. This market could swipe down. Okay. This market could potentially swipe down. Okay. Looking like bulls are going to come out and we'll try to ride that. Okay. But be careful here because if we do swipe down a bit here, okay, we have what's called negative GEX. Okay. And I don't have enough time to explain that right now. We got a minute before the market open. I haven't even gone over FANG. This is why I got to start these sessions more earlier. Okay. But yeah, it's kind of like I don't have enough time to explain this right there. All right. But just when the market opens, we'll get that opening print and we can update on that. Okay. But just be cautious here. All right. Don't just because we're gapping up does not mean that we're just going to go up. All right. Let me go to Qs real quick. ETF of the NASDAQ. Okay, great. Yes, gap up indeed. All right. Again, gapping up above yesterday's high. But again, if I look at futures, it's still inside of that mother bar high, mother bar low. All right. So we're already open here. So next week, definitely, if you're on Instagram and YouTube, what have you, and even for my Phantoms, I love y'all. We're gonna have to start these sessions a little earlier because need more time. Definitely. All right. Even if I didn't get the coffee for 2 minutes, we still wouldn't have enough time to get through everything that I kind of wanted to do. All right. Just real quick while I'm here, let me just pull a VWAP. Be patient. All right, so I just switched to daily to the left. I got a 2 minute to the right. Let's get some internals real quick. All right, so we got VIX. Got to take a peek at that. I mean, always have a eye on VIX. That's for sure. All right, advanced declines positive 1500. Extreme will be positive or negative 1800 to 2000. So we'll see if that continues there. All right. More stocks up versus down on the advanced declines. Vol D, volume up versus volume down on the New York Stock Exchange. Opening print +3 for the moment. All right, it's fairly extreme. Positive or negative 3 would be extreme. So we'll see if that holds. And let's keep VIX there. All right, VIX still just chilling, hanging out right now. We just opened up. All right, now that we have the opening print, we can see here. Okay, don't have some of my Phantom members will kind of know how to read this here. I don't have enough time for but as you can see right above here, we have a lot of stuff here. Okay, this is a positive GEX environment. So if we rally up, market maker is going to have to sell into this. Okay, so hate to break it to you folks, but above price right now, pretty heavy. Market maker is going to be selling up into this area here. And the if we break 5660, there's a negative GEX in a TRO here. So we can slice down. Okay, we can slice down. Let's be patient though. Carvana. Oh man, I'm so man. I wanted to play Carvana earnings. If I can rewrite yesterday's history, I would not even do Fed and just do Carvana earnings and the an ARM and Affirm. But hey, there's no time machine. All right, only in movies. Carvana. Great, is that great? My man, great one. My man, brother. Hopefully you're well. Good to see you. Hear my voice. My voice is gross, but good to see you, brother. Blessings to you and yours. Tesla. I think I mentioned this on what was it on the tube on Tuesday. This has the potential for a squeeze. Looking good this morning. Even wanted to enter this yesterday. Somebody reminded me. So I'm a little bit annoyed by that a little bit there, but all good. But right off the open, this is looking good here for right now. Tesla. This is going to potentially be on what's called a squeeze. I don't have enough time to explain that right now, but let's hit this. All right. Chasing it a little bit. It's 4 minutes off the open. But let's see here. Let me get long call Tesla. But you might want to look at this maybe after the morning rush here. Let's see if I can get a couple of tickers here working for us. I wanted to spend some time on a potential squeeze on this as like a potential swing trade. Now I have to be careful with bullish exposure risk, if you will, due to the market with that negative GEX below. But again, we could kind of grind higher. And right now, Tesla has relative strength right off the open here. All right, so we can kind of lean against this bar here right off open. Again, I've been kind of creeping on Tesla a bit here. And there could be a potential squeeze. It's not super squeezy, but to speak like a 2-year-old, but there's a little something here. Overall. All right, so if I go to like May 9th expiration here, see like maybe a 30 delta, 28 delta, give or take. This will be Friday's expiration meeting tomorrow. As today is Thursday. We got a little bit of a pullback off here. This is going for like what, $2 here on for the 292 half strike call. All right, and so I'm going to pick these up. Let me grab this in my other account real quick. Yeah, Pinkski. That's the thing with earnings, man. Vega bomb is a crazy thing. So earnings. It's the premium chart. All right, the 292 half strike call got filled here. Let me grab this in my other account. Yeah, Pinkski. So you're the man. You're the man. You're a future legend in this industry, literally. I already know. So we'll talk about that. Just stay focused right now. Talk it up, chalk it up. That Vega bomb is real. All right. Welcome to earnings season. All right, so picked up some long calls, Tessie here. Which is bullish. All right. All right, and just for the tube here, we can even take some profit. Okay, y'all see that? TP. Hit it. Bang. Bong. All right. TP. Hit it. All right. So there's a guy named TP Timmy. Needs to take profit. Okay. Y'all know who Timmy is? South Park. Timmy. All right. All right. TP needs to take profit. Already scalped out some there real quick. Bing bong. All right. Stay focused. Anybody in chat, how do you full screen sideways view on mobile? I think you might have to be on a desktop on Instagram for the Instagram. I could be wrong. I'm not, I know how social media is and works and all that, but I believe you might have to be on a desktop for that. All right, so here we are. We have a gap up, moving down a little bit here on spots. Somebody said PLTR. Let me check that out real quick. All right, make sure you TP a little bit of Tesla there. All right, market's a little heavy. So long Tesla, but markets are down a bit. Okay, so make sure you TP a little bit there, reduce some exposure. PLTR. Took an earnings play off this. Ooh, good catch here. Took an earnings play off this. Great. Actually, this is clearing. Good find. Who is that? Bobby, my man. Bobby Metallica. Good find. That drop down into the 20 period moving average here. Clearing this bar here. Good find, brother. Good job. Good find. My man. Potentially for a day trade, for the record, I'm long stock on this, right? I bought some puts to protect, right? I have that all on recording there. Anyways, whatever. Cool story, bro. 117. You could pick up maybe the 117 strike for buck 68. We're buying on the highs a little bit here, but it's clearing a little bit. We do have to be careful a little bit here because we have this gap here. Okay, so if you want to try to work on this here, you can potentially try to wait for for a little bit of a pullback. Okay. So here's what I'll do here. I can copy this, right? Copy this code here. This is Thinkorswim. I can copy this code here for the premium. All right, and I can go over into paste this into a chart. Why? Well, I can go ahead, bring up a matrix or a dome, if you will. Okay, and I can say, okay, if we pull back, say on PLTR to get long, all right. Maybe potentially down here just on its daily VWAP. All right. Well, you can get long right now. You're going to be buying the high, and you're going to get this breakout move here. Okay. But if you say, okay, I don't want to chase it a bit here, maybe I can put in a bid here on the premium here at his VWAP on premium, say 120, 125. All right. So I'll throw in a bid here, 125. All right. And then because Bobby's in already, right? Let's just say Bobby's already in. He's already TPing, so I'm TPing, taking profit. I don't want to chase it so much here. I see we can try to get a little bit of a pullback there. Good find, Bobby. All right. Tesla made a new high. We can TP some here. All right. TP some Tesla. Get some other account. All right, that's the Tesla premium. Bobby Boucher. Okay. All right, I just took some profit on Tesla here, right? I'm still in, but always being ABC, always be closing, always be courteous, right? All right, TP Timmy. All right, reduce some exposure there. Again, market's a little heavy here. Just a little bit, not quite. We gapped up, but again, I'm just looking at that. My freaking phone, man. I gotta shut this shit off. Let's see, 5,700. High gamma node there. It's a GEX spot. Man, the volume has been so low lately. The volume has been low. It gets in its range. $10 a.m. Trump is trumping. We don't play politics at Phantoms. We literally don't care. We trade the tape. All right, give us some time here. We got Tesla going. PLTR, nice find. Just pulling some daily VWAPs here. There's Apple. Again, for you new folks, if you're just visiting the channel, welcome. Monthly, weekly, daily, orange, yellow, blue. So anything orange, monthly, yellow, weekly, daily is blue, right? So I just pulled a daily VWAP, okay, anchored VWAP for the day. That's this week's, or I should say, this week's VWAP in yellow. Okay, so you can see, for example, Apple, gapped up. We came into this week's VWAP. All right, and there was used as some supply. We got Amazon gap up, fade down. Yesterday took a nice trade on Amazon, gave the profits back on range on S&Ps, but what flawless execution that we were speaking about, right? Ding, boom, but can't shout about that because gave some profit, gave the money back on Fed BS yesterday, right? So open and honest, transparency always. All right, so we're in Tesla, right? Microsoft was looking good in the morning, but not so much here. Right now, opening print here, just testing gap up above yesterday's high, retesting the other side. So just being a little patient here. Meta. It's yearly VWAP here, gap up, fade down a bit. Meta looks like it wants to fill its gap there. Which one's one of the more weaker ones? Lily's getting bullied here. Lily. I'm kind of breaking down here a little bit. The S&Ps for now are holding below its daily VWAP. There's some heavy stuff above here, folks. So this is gonna provide supply pressure. So we could try to work on this here. In that, now we just be careful. This market has pressure being built. We got news coming out in 12 minutes, right? So you have to be cautious of this area up here. But if I were to get some long puts to be bearish in SPYs right now to see if we can try to ride down below this negative GEX level here, what does that look like? Let's see. So if I just do like today's expiration. Now, I'm not going to go too crazy here with this. Let's see if I pick up a 30, say 37, 31 delta. You can maybe pick up a 561 strike. Maybe a 31 delta. So we can try going a little ride here on this negative GEX. Again, not too crazy here. I'm not going crazy size here. All right, Tesla pull back a little bit there. All right, long put SPYs. Let me grab this in my other account. All right, Tesla on its breaking down below its VWAP. If you wanted to try to cut that, after TPing something here, you could potentially do that. Let me clear that. All right, I'm on a Tesla. I'm going to be flat there. I might potentially realign back up. but for right now, I'm just gonna cut that. All right. Well, it's good. It's in profit. It's good. It's good, right? So spies. This short's not super awesome here, but we can in range. Long put, which is bearish. I got some not I got not crazy size, but I'd say like mid size on this. Usually I'll do SPX, but just the mixed reads that I'm getting right now. I'm just controlling risk at the moment. Healthcare getting slammed, yeah. Well, the beast. S&P. I hate to say it. It sounds like a broken record all week this week, but we're just still inside of mid-range here. All right. So yeah, I mean, Will the Beast brought this up, and this is great. We are coming into a demand level into this area here, right? That's a fact. It's that demand level on a 30-minute time frame. Is it an awesome one? I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's in the middle of the range. I mean, markets could pick up some bids here. Don't get me wrong there. Now we're long some puts. So could we take some profit into that demand zone here? Yes. Already hit it. Take some profit, right? TP some here. Again, we're coming back in mid-range, so I'm just trying to scalp here. Okay. Because now this is the demand zone. We're below VWAP for on futures, and also we're below VWAP for the SPYs and SPX here today. All right, now that could change, right? So I just scalped a little bit here. TP Timmy, take profit, right? To TP me take profit, TP Timmy. Okay, so part, okay. Marijuana is bad, okay. Well, I'm on social media, I gotta be careful, get banned. Cancel. You're canceled, culture. Cancel. You can't say words. You can't speak English. I can't anyways. Jason Rodriguez, extra session, pretty please. Brother, I would say indeed yes. The only thing right now is I'm literally yesterday you could not take any calls because I was with the Phantoms team all day yesterday, lovingly so. But I got my phone is off the crazy right now because I'm moving. I'm moving into a different state. So I have to, just because of that, that's the only reason, brother. I have to say I can't I got shit to do. So my plan was today. My phone. I had to flip my phone over. It was annoying me, but my plan was to see if I can trade for open for an hour and a half. See what's up. And of course, my office, I got screens everywhere, so I'm going to be watching, looking and things like that. But I got to jump on the phone, literally. Real estate BS. There's my girl. Did we win? Is that my guy, bro? CK. Yo, yesterday that was hilarious. Is that you? That was hilarious. I didn't react that much. Did we win? CK Smoke on YouTube. So far, yeah. Yesterday, chop. The only traders that won yesterday on Fed was credit spread traders, hyper scalpers, the scalp and scalp. No follow through. But no, I took a small L yesterday. And I'm not shy to say that. It's funny these days on social media. It's like all these traders, I take no losers. I win every trade. Here's my screenshot of making $1,000, $1 million on a $100 account. All right, we got VIX hanging out here. SPY's about to test VWAP. Like I said, this short trade could be short lived. That's why TP'd some so quick and scalped that a little bit. Still in, right? We have to cut that. Not yet. Just wait. Blessing, the queen of phantoms. Blessing. We'll take the calls together. You'd probably be one of the few that I would trust to actually do that. I trust nobody, but I trust Blessing though. All right, that 30-minute IBI right there. So you mentioned, good job. Took some profit. Right, we're gonna be cautious with this put here. All right, Trump opening his mouth soon. Right. If you wanted to add to this put, we're at VWAP right now. It's heavy up here, positive gamma here. What's Michael Hansen? That's the Godfather speaking like that, my man. I'm not gonna put her GPS on the internet. Yeah, and blessings her just Michael Hansen. Yo, this Phantoms is crazy. Phantoms people is wild. I love it. The future trade floor that I dream about every night is going to be nuts. For those who survive. No, this is not Mr. Black. Nothing's really jumping out at me right now, folks. I mean, we got a little something here, right? I got some scalps that, so just be patient here. I still got some on here on my other account, just kind of floating around. So I'm kind of low risk at the moment. AMD looking decent here, like for even a day trade. We just got a 30-minute bar close. AMD is taping. About to re-enter Tessie here. But one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to wait for the 5-minute time frame in 4 minutes to see if we can close above this red bar here, what's called a positive COG. So it's all about patience, folks. All right. AMD, kind of similar here. And again, we got Trump speaking, and who the beep knows what that guy's going to say. All right, if you want to cut these puts, let me just cut these real quick because we're about to snap VWAP. Potentially. All right, just staying close to the tape at the moment. All right, so here for the record, it's got flat right now, SPY. Okay. Okay. Flat meaning out, right? Oh man, I hate to say it, but this is real life stuff. It's shopping. All right, so far this always working out though. We'll see. All right. And we had a discussion yesterday about conditions and condition of the markets and things like that. So you got to know when to press and put a lot, risk on and when not to, etc. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a couple setups here. AMD looking a little bit juicy there. Tessie, JP Morgan, good for a swing. I never make any guarantees or anything like that, but if I was you just pop above this area here, liquidity sweep here. So actually, JP Morgan has what's called a pro gap up, decent. JP Morgan, nice, long call, 5-minute positive COG here, gap up out of the buy zone. Relative strength. I haven't even cleared this level here. Got a monthly, weekly day. Look at that hammer bar on the monthlies. What a beaut. But markets are heavy. When I see this here on in options, you gotta understand options. It's heavy up here, y'all. It's heavy. All this positive gamma above. all that positive gamma above. It's gonna market makers are selling into that up there, so it's gonna be hard to break. As you can see, Tesla did not. This is what I'm saying. Be patient. Wait for the closes, because you see even Tesla pushing back off that. The size is greatly reduced. Well said. Just one of those weeks that a trader goes through. But there'll be better times. I don't wanna get chopped up. Who's that? TLC? Is that TLC? Been struggling with swings. Need to sell more credit with his range. Yeah. Yes. For now, just be just be careful with the credits, because if and when we break out, could get fierce. I know you know that, Pinsky. All right. Wow. Respecting VWAP. Advanced decline is decreasing. It's kind of crazy because with a low daily VWAP on the regular, regular trading hour session, but we're at the end of the we're in demand. Like, we're in a little bit of intermediate demand. It's not the greatest demand, albeit, but let's see. But just painting bars. We have this thing called painting bars, and we're kind of breaking down here. So there we go. I don't want to chase too much. But we could try to re-engage this 561 put here. All right. All right, we got an unfilled gap here for what it's worth. We got weekly VWAP here. All right, so I just got short. Yeah, when the tape is taping, Phantoms, we get it. We get it. All right, just be aware. Everybody's looking at this gap. Who's going to fill the gap? 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 So, oftentimes, it may not. Market's a little heavy right now. I'm sure. Obviously, I would want this gap to be filled, selfishly so. All right, so we're short. So all we can do is do what, right? So short, and obviously stop loss, above that level right there, pivot. All right, and TP along the way. Does this make sense? All right, but we'll see. We still haven't cleared this. So again, just man, we're back middle. Literally, if I look at the mother bar high, mother bar low, which we talked about earlier in the morning, right? We are dead smack in the middle of that. Okay, but right now momentum is down for now. So I'm short. Why? Because we're expecting view up on the downside here. All right, so let's take some more profit on these long puts. Okay. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. Hit it. TP. Here we go. All right. There we go. Take some more off here. Again, usually I'll be trading SPX. Y'all, people that know me know I love the SPX. I love SPX. But because of what I see, I'm not really heavy on that right now. All right, I got some spies going here, right? All right, so you take a profit, y'all good? Yeah. ABC, always be closing. Yes, of course. Shorts want to have this gap get filled. Looks like it wants to. We'll see. But what if it doesn't? But what if it doesn't? But what if it doesn't? No, it's going to. It's going to. But what if it doesn't? No, it's going to. It's going to. Because Trump is going to say that. What if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? What's your plan if it does not? Never speak in absolutes in trading. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. What do you know, Miss Cleo Nostradamus? You don't know. What do you? Everybody thinks they're special, that they know exactly where market's going to go. Stop that. Stop that madness. That's why your account. Show me your account. No. The way my bank account's set up, show me your account. Show me your account. You know where the markets are going, right? You should be a freaking gazillionaire, huh? The best traders know that they don't know what's going to happen next, so they trade. They trade the tape in setups. All right. So what did I do here? Right? Because what if this gap is? What if this could be the low of the day? The low of the day could have just got put in right there. Who knows? Right? But got short. TP. Protect. Right? TP. Protect. Okay. So if the gap doesn't fill, for example, right? Well, we already reduced risk, took some profit. Okay, trail stop, and we'll see. That's it. Stop thinking and failing. All up in your feelings. No failings in trading. That hurts you. You get hurt. You get hurt that way. Because real traders dead inside, straight to tape. They've been through that process. They've been through that process of failings. We were talking about that yesterday. Oh no, TED Talk coming, Mr. Blue TED Talk. I gotta get off this mic. Adapt. Rules, right? So, in all seriousness, if I look at something like AMD or Tesla, right? Even here's like AMD. What's up, birds? As I mentioned, I want to see if we can get a close, a positive COG close above here. We can't. We couldn't, at least yet, right? So no execution, right? Imagine if I just thought that Tesla was going to take off right up here. Imagine if I was like, hey, let's get long, man. It's going to go up because I fucking know. Oh, excuse me. Did I swear? Oops. Algorithm. Banned, right? To the go. Nope. Wait for the close. No positive COG close right there. No entry, right? Saved us some dinero. All right. So you got to see it. You see it, you take it. You don't see it, you don't do nothing. See your setup develop. If you don't see it, you do nothing. All right. So if you're like, oh, I want to get in a trade. I want to get in a trade right now. I want to get in a trade. You're gonna go. Then you could go look. You stare at a chart long enough, and you'll see something that you don't. Right. It should be almost like reactive. Like once you know your setup, it should. You shouldn't have to stare at it sideways. Put your chart upside down, sideways to try. Right. You're doing all that work. You already know. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. The best setups are just like boom, hit it. Hit it. Right. Wait. If you're like, well, you know what? Maybe, hold on. Let me check the moon. Hold on. Let me check the moon. Let me check the stars. It's a full moon and half moon. Because, studies show that on a half moon and, markets will go down in the cycle of lunar. And my horoscope is a Scorpio. And shut up. What are you talking about? All right, probably gonna end this. I'm bored. Trade safe. Protect these puts here. Hold your cards tight. Hold your monies tight. This is so far not an insane kind of breakout week. Again, folks. Again, from the morning, all week. I still got those long puts for the record, right? But if I leave you with this, did we win? CK Smoke. Yeah, man, green screen so far today, brother. Not a lot, man, because nothing's moving that much, man. But yeah, like I said, mother bar high, mother bar low. This is Friday. All right, we're still inside of that. Dead smack in the middle of the range here. So we're still in timeout in our room. Mom ain't letting us out yet. All right, so go do something else. Go do push-ups. Go to the gym. Go for a walk. All right, I'm gonna go do some life stuff. Get some stuff done. Right, right. Keep an eye on it. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. But that's just where it's at right now. And a big part of trading that a lot of people don't understand, just due to experience and so on and so forth, is know when to do nothing I take my risk very serious. So I deploy risk when the markets tell me to deploy risk. And right now it's a 50-50 bet. You got bulls saying, yeah, it's going to break out because XYZ to the upside. You got bears saying, it's going to break down because of XYZ. And right now they're fighting. I got a portrait in my office. What I spent in New York City. I bought, what is it, $4,500 I spent on it or something like that. Crazy. The bull bear brawl, right? It's just bulls and bears fighting, right? Wall Street, the bull bear brawl, fighting. So like imagine being in the middle of a bear and a bull fighting. So that's kind of where you're at right now. You get chopped up, you get clawed up, you get horned, you get clawed down, you get horned up, right? So now there's a couple of tickers. The PLTR get filled. You can even see. Missed the limit order there. All right, that will change. Credit spreads after Trump speaks. Just be careful with credit spread. I mean, yes, you would want to be doing credit spreads because of the lack of movement, yes, but just watch out for if you're going to be doing credits, make sure you watch out for a breakout. All right, it actually might be, we'll see. We're testing VWAP right now. On SPYs, at least, SPX, right? All right, so credit spreads, indeed, yes, but don't put on the credit spread and go to the gym for a jog, right? That's not, because if we break out, you can get hurt. So if you're going to do a credit spread, make sure you're there. Make sure if you know how to do them, right? We talk about these, but make sure you're there. You're able to manage it, watch it, just in case. We do break out potentially today. That's all. All right, folks. And yeah, for my phantoms that have been around since some Monday session, when we do the weekly prep, if you will, for the week, we're still we haven't done anything so far, right? We're inside week, last week's high, last week's low, inside, right? Inside of the mother bar, right? So just be aware of that. Just be aware of that. All right. You can reduce some of this here on the VWAP. What's VIX doing? It's going to hit this here, reduce some exposure. Trying to ride these puts. Got a VWAP test, but you got to be cautious here in the event that it breaks. All right, folks. So yeah, all that TED talking. If you want to learn a little bit more about this, I see some goats, some future goats in here in the chat regarding already Phantoms members. But hey, if you want to join the team, man, the team's growing strong. So nobody's here begging you to do anything here. I don't care if you're new in the tube or whatever. Doesn't affect us that much. We're still going to be working. All right, Thursday, May 8th. That's today, 7 p.m. Eastern. Name, email, register, get sent to email. All right. Here's the agenda. Mr. Black, Mr. Green will potentially be, give you a 90-day kind of rundown what Phantoms is, how we operate, all that kind of stuff, right? And here's the agenda. Y'all can read that, right? How markets work, right? We're all professional traders. Been doing this a long time. Every year that goes by, it's like, damn, I've been doing this that long, right? Small count, big count, don't matter. Not just stocks, futures, forex, options, right? Even crypto. Right, trading for income, okay, just short term, maybe some side hustle, or if you're looking at long-term wealth, I manage some long-term accounts, big accounts too. All right, so kind of a one-stop shop for all. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, great as well. Cool. shake your hand. See you later. Goodbye. Good luck. And that's it. All right. I'm going to go do some other stuff here. Got my eye on this market. And that said, I'll see some of y'all Phantoms. What's today's Thunder Thursday? So I'll see some of y'all later today in the class. Be careful. Rangy week so far. Sorry, Thursday. It's Thursday. All right. God bless. Take care, folks. Trade safe. Trade safe. Trade safe. Protect your capital right now. Wait for things to move and align, and then we deploy. Then we deploy. Then we deploy. All right. God bless. Take care. Blew up. I'll check y'all on the flip side.